We have a lot to talk about here. We spoke a couple of weeks ago, and I asked you at the time. I said, okay, it's been, I think I said it felt like a month because this story has been going on for a while. It's only been a week or now a couple of weeks. You said, and you used the words, a serious reflection, and then you came out on Friday and suggested that after that time, you have decided to stay a member of the Liberal caucus. So I guess the first question people will want to know is why? What happened? Was there a decisive moment or decisive moments that you said to yourself, okay, I think I could do more good here or have more, import here than I can anywhere else? How did it happen?
So there were two basic reasons. The first is the Prime Minister called me, and I had extensive discussions with the Prime Minister in the last few days of last week, where we talked about how I was feeling about the motion and the rise of anti-Semitism across Canada that I felt the government had not adequately addressed, nor has any other government at provincial or municipal levels. And he offered me the task of working with him and Deborah Lyons, our special envoy on combating anti-Semitism, and that role really appealed to me because I realized I could do something now as opposed to waiting 18 months when the government changes. So that was one thing. I think we need to respond to anti-Semitism now, and me being offered by the Prime Minister to work on this file was something that was really important to me. And the second thing was recognizing that I can't let this issue define me and take away the liberal values that I've had all my life. So I've always fought for a centrist Liberal Party. I don't want the Liberal Party to be in the NDP light. I want the Liberal Party to be a centrist party, meaning financially responsible, taking care of our NATO commitments, and having a strong defense, standing up for our charter rights, including when provinces like Quebec use the notwithstanding clause preemptively on Bill 21 and Bill 96, and fighting back on stuff like that. And I realized that I have to occupy this space in the Liberal caucus. I can't just walk away. I need to make sure that centrist vision, a historical centrist vision, is there. So those are the two primary reasons why I decided that I would be best served by staying and that my constituents would be best served by my staying.
Beyond the talk with the Prime Minister in this role that you're now going to have, I know because we talked about it originally, you've heard from constituents. I'm sure that after we spoke, you continued to hear from them. I'm just curious, what was the sort of takeaway from all of that? How many said, what did they say to you?
You know, there were mixed answers. I would say the majority of members of the Jewish community that reached out to me wanted me to cross the floor, but I was very pleased that a very good percentage of them said they'll support me no matter what. And the same is true in reverse. The majority of non-Jewish constituents wanted me to stay, but again, many said they would support me whatever I did, which was again very much appreciated. But there was a divided, population, and I see that. And I also recognize, having been elected as a Liberal, unless my constituents are pretty united in me changing my status, it would be wrong to do so, because that's not only my decision, it's all of theirs.
How much, again, I'm not sure this is entirely fair. I think I mentioned to you as well. We know that Pierre Poilievre had been here. He addressed a couple of community groups. We know Melissa Lantsman, his right hand, had been here as well. In your writing, potentially, I guess, going after people out there, thinking perhaps this was the opportunity, their best opportunity yet, to try to convince people to vote Conservative. Did that come into your reasoning, into your final decision at all?
I mean, the fact that they were here didn't. Melissa is a friend, and today is her 40th birthday, so I think we should all wish her a happy birthday. And I think, Mr. Poilievre made an excellent speech on Israel. And I fully agree with him on the issue of Israel. I don't agree with him on other issues. And I think that our rioting is bigger than just one issue. And I think even the Jewish community, has to recognize that there's more than one issue out there. But I will be a strong and loud voice for Israel in the Liberal caucus. And I think actually my voice in the Liberal caucus on this issue, where I'm fighting a battle on it, is really important. We had an excellent record on Israel from 2015 to the fall of 2023. Since about December of 2023, I've been disappointed in where we've gone on this issue. And people like me and Marco Mendicino and Anna Ganey, we need to fight back. And if I'm not there, that voice won't be at the table. And that's another kind of thing that persuaded me to go back. It was my colleagues, the number of my colleagues that, share my views on the centrist kind of Liberal Party they want, that support Western democracies like Israel, that said that if your voice is gone, we really need you to be there and leading this fight. So that's sort of where I also came down on that.
I asked as well when we first spoke, and it was a story in the news. You mentioned too, look, I have friends in the Conservative Party. Of course, I've had discussions with people once you decided you needed this time to reflect. Had you at any point, or have you at any point, been asked to join the Conservatives?
Again, I'm not going to talk about private discussions that I've had. I can say that I was made to feel very welcome by both Liberals and Conservatives, and I appreciated the very kind, discussions I had with everybody. In the end, I made a decision, but I really had to think through that decision, and I think for a lot of Jewish Liberals who were really hurt by the vote on that motion in the House, this is a conversation that I had publicly because I think a lot of them are having it as well. And I wanted them to know that it's not only them that are wondering if their values that have aligned with the Liberal Party were so affected by that motion that they needed to walk away. I don't think we need to walk away. I think we need to fight back. And I think that was sort of a reflection that I had publicly, and I hope it helped other people reach their own conclusion.
All right. I'm going to leave it at that. I was going to ask you, you said some of the people who contacted you suggesting the Conservatives have had a clearer stance, if you will, since your point in December of last year on the Israel situation than the Liberals have. It's been kind of back and forth and back, which I'm sure has angered some of your Jewish constituents as well. But for the most part, as you said, it's not a one issue, right? It's the idea that you can get your idea.
We're English-speaking Quebecers, right? And on English-speaking Quebec issues, Bill 21, Bill 96, preemptive use and notwithstanding clause, the Liberal Party position is far, far better than the Conservative Party. And that also I recognize, not only do I feel a special responsibility to the Jewish community throughout Canada, I feel a special responsibility to the English-speaking community everywhere in Quebec to be their spokesperson. And that's also factored into my decision.
Anthony, I always appreciate your time. You know that. I thank you, and I wish you best of luck and hope we can speak soon.
Thank you so much, Aaron. Anytime.
Anthony Housefather, who has decided to stay with the Liberal caucus. He's made up his mind. There you go.